The history of the Bureau of Land Management. The Bureau of Land Management was organized as an agency in 1946. It was one of the later agencies added under the Department of Interior. Roots of the BLM go back to when our young nation started to acquire additional lands. BLM is the successor to General Land Office, which was created in 1812. The initial mandate of the General Land Office was to dispose of the hundreds of millions of acres the federal government had acquired from treaties with Indian tribes, English land grants, and other land deals. Another successor was the Grazing Service. It was initially established to bring order from social chaos and to impose controls on public land grazing. An interesting fact about the BLM is Alaska has the most land managed, which is 72.2 million acres, while there is also 24 states in the U.S. that have no land managed by the BLM.
And the mission of BLM is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of public land for the use and enjoyment of our current and future generation. So what that means is they just work to, they manage these lands to help average American families with better recreation opportunities and try to connect with the youth and create opportunities for them to be able to connect with their natural and cultural heritage.
At the Bureau of Land Management, they are tasked by the federal government to manage lands that are valued for energy, outdoor recreation, as well as wilderness. The culture of the Bureau of Land Management is to protect the land as well as improve the health of it for present generations as well as many more that are to come. The Bureau does this through honesty, integrity, and accountability. They are committed to making a difference in the land that they protect.
Actions of the Bureau of Land Management include the management of recreation and natural resources of over 245 million acres of public lands. These lands fall under multiple use thanks to the Classification and Multiple Use Act of 1964. To manage these lands, the BLM uses resource management plans. These are for maintaining public lands' health and keeps them available for multiple use. The Federal Land Policy and Management Act was passed in 1976. This established the BLM's multiple use mandate and allows the BLM to manage public lands and subsurface estates. The Dingell Act that was passed in 2019 sets guidelines for programs and projects to make sure they maintain and conserve natural resources within our public and federal lands. The BLM also has the Freedom of Information Act that allows for the public to request access to the BLM's records as long as it is not in violation of someone's personal privacy, national security, or our law enforcement. Speaking of transparency, the BLM works hard to abide with NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act, which gives the public a voice and makes federal projects transparent, all while conserving and maintaining our public and federal lands. Important people of the Bureau of Land Management include its Deputy Director, which is currently Nada Wolf-Culver. She is temporarily stepping into this position. She recently replaced William Perry Penley, and right now we are just waiting on a new Deputy Director to be chosen by President Joe Biden. But as of now, Nada Culver is our acting Deputy Director of Policies and Programs. The BLM also has a Deputy Director of Operations, which is Michael D. Ned. He oversees the daily activities and initiatives of the BLM, as well as over 9,000 BLM employees. And the BLM also has a state director for every state, including Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming, as well as state directors who are responsible for groups of multiple states, like the director for all eastern states, the director for Montana and the Dakotas, and the director for Oregon and Washington. And when discussing important people of the BLM, it's important to recognize President Harry Truman, who created the BLM in 1946.
The Bureau of Land Management has faced a variety of challenges throughout their time as a major environmental organization. Processes that involve planning and regulating the transfer and registration of new lands make up a large chunk of the obstacles that the Bureau of Land Management takes on. One big issue the Bureau of Land Management encountered occurred in December of 2008, a month before Obama became the president. During Bush's last month of presidency, he supported and auctioned off oil and gas leases on over 100,000 acres of land, which was detrimental to the environment. Thankfully, the protests of the people led to a temporary restraining order on the Bureau of Land Management, which forbade them to move forward with any of the leases they had originally agreed to. While this crisis created a divide, with one side in favor of land conservation and the other more focused on oil and gas production, it also allowed larger topics to be viewed in a similar light, even still affecting the environmental decisions that we make today.